I mean, when you see what I'm about to show you now, you almost want to laugh. I mean, at the fact that these people, quite frankly, did this to themselves. But then again, though, at the same time, though, we got to ask that question: has this network ever been credible?
Friends and family around the table don't watch and don't trust CNN. There is reverence for Ronald Reagan here. But listen.
The trust is gone.
Reagan's optimism replaced by Trump's grievances.
We got to find our own way to take care of ourselves.
Reagan's disdain of big government replaced by Trump's distrust of just about everything.
The United States should be supporting Ukraine in the fight against Putin. Raise your hand. Nobody.
You don't have to be that smart to connect the dots, right? And so is the war to cover up sins committed so you can cover your tracks? There's too much money that's been thrown over there.
You think all the NATO countries would do what Biden told them to do because he's trying to cover up some Hunter Biden business deal by...
It all depends on how Zelensky, how much dirt he has on Biden to keep the money coming.
That's out there.
No, because it's real, right?
Hey, well, how do you trust when you know the government has shut down Facebook and shut down Twitter and told them to not show certain news stories?
A few days here makes clear
It's
Trump...
like watching the open of an old Tucker Carlson show. He's not there anymore, but that's what it is. And these are busy people. These are hardworking people. There are too many Democrats who want to say they're deplorables or, why talk to these people? There are millions of them. This is a family that literally is an economic anchor in the community. The business started in the basement, employs 80 people. The new solar company employs 15 people in a part of the country that has been devastated economically and challenged economically the last 25 years. They're good people. They raise money for the Girl Scouts. They go to church. But they believe things that would break our fact-check machine. That's just a fact. And they don't trust us. They think we're part of the problem.
Right there was the site the other day when CNN apparently went to Ohio and actually talked to some conservative voters, or the way I like to call them, moderate, pure Trump voters, because there's actually a difference between the two, which, by the way, I may highlight when we get close to the 2024 election, even though I do plan on doing less and less content that is actually truly apolitical because of the boring subject matter. But this video right here is not designed for that. This video right here, for the most part, is designed to go after CNN. Now, guys, CNN right now, their lineup shuffle with Caitlin Collins, and it's just not working out the way they thought it was going to work out. However, many people have shown their frustration with this company by calling into C-SPAN and telling Brian Stelter that he's completely unreliable.
Television admit he and his network are a bunch of liars about Donald Trump.
This is Kevin in Princeton, Indiana. Good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Stelter is the biggest minister of misinformation I have ever heard, and I'm a news junkie. He made the statement just a few minutes ago that he is all the stories are always evolving. Yeah, his stories absolutely evolve.
Brian Stelter.
Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it.
Savannah, Georgia. Rick, good morning. You're next.
Yes, I was just wondering if you still feel like Michael Avenatti is the greatest thing in the world and should run for president of the United States.
That's
and
funny.
my suggestion is whatever CNN says, do the opposite and you'll be fine.
Aurora, Indiana. This is Robert. Good morning. You're on with Brian Stelter.
You know, CNN is just something it's a joke. It's a joke. Right. This guy tells more lies, and Fox gives more news than CNN does. And
funny, given that his show was called Reliable Sources, and quite frankly, people called him out for being unreliable. Seeing how it is that we've had Breonna Kyler go up there and actually threaten Republican members of the Senate and Congress, seeing how it is that they basically ran with the whole deplorables narrative from Hillary Clinton, seeing how it is that they have gone out of their way to completely lambast conservatives every chance they get, seeing how it is that every time one goes on a panel, they go out of their way to interrupt that individual and not let them talk and try to make fun of them. It almost feels familiar, because I remember that if you go back in history to the end of the Civil War, like shortly after that, there were a lot of black men who were running for Congress, and the Democrats in the South and even the North they would always try to paint the picture of their opponent as being some type of subhuman creature or something like that. That's kind of what they did, and it feels to me like that's what they're doing now. I love how John King basically said that they believe a lot of things that, quite frankly, would make our fact-check machine go absolutely crazy. And I hate to tell you this, but John, you guys haven't exactly been orators of truth. I mean, you guys never have been able to tell the truth about anything or be honest about anything. But still, at the same time, though, now you know why it is. Somebody, of course, told you to your face that, quite frankly, they did not trust you and did not trust your network, especially given the fact that it's mostly a propaganda piece for the federal government at this moment in time. As a matter of fact, these same conservative voters more than likely don't trust Fox News either. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. But when you keep calling people deplorable, you keep calling them unredeemable. By the way, these are just good old-fashioned country people who, quite frankly, have never bothered you, which is really funny because I myself have actually experienced this in person. You're a deplorable, Paul. You're a deplorable, Claymore. And my response to them is, don't really have much of a response because I already know that these people are gone. Yes, I've gotten into arguments with these people. Yes, I've actually fought with some of these people in arguments and stuff. And yes, I've had to put them in their place. But the fact of the matter is that the vast majority of the people who feel this way about their political opposition are already gone. And I don't really think there's anything that, quite frankly, we can do to change their minds. And before I go any further, I need to go ahead and say this right here. In the video that I did earlier, I brought up the whole notion of, you get what you vote for. And I've heard a lot of people say that that term is not exactly a helpful term. It's not doing anything to help things out, and you shouldn't say that. And my response to them is this right here. Until they stop voting for the policies that, quite frankly, kill them at every opportunity, that are actually wiping them out, I'm going to continue to say that. Because the truth be told is sometimes the simplest explanation is the right one. You keep voting for these policies and you're going to keep getting these results. By the way, these people don't look like they want to change their minds on anything. It seems to me like these people are, like I said earlier.
Someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism. And what is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation. Well, isn't this the liberal philosophy? The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
I mean, what's next? Are they going to break CNN's heart because they don't want the United States to get involved in the war between Russia and Ukraine? Oh, wait, what's this?
If you think the United States should be supporting Ukraine in the fight against Putin, raise your hand. Nobody. When you hear the Ukraine exchange there, it's like watching the open of an old Tucker Carlson show. He's not there anymore, but that's what it is. And these are busy people. These are hardworking people. There are too many Democrats who want to say they're deplorables or, why talk to these people? There are millions of them. This is a family that literally is an economic anchor in the community. The business started in the basement, employs 80 people. The new solar company employs 15 people in a part of the country that has been devastated economically and challenged economically the last 25 years. They're good people. They raise money for the Girl Scouts. They go to church. But they believe things that would break our fact-check machine. That's just a fact. And they don't trust us. They think we're part of the problem.
Now, why would they think that? Well, here's a list of just 18 reasons. The fake 18 reasons that CNN put together about why Trump may be a Russian agent. Of course, the 2-year Mueller investigation ended with an embarrassing nothing burger, with Robert Mueller being almost as incoherent as old Joe.
The individual is in fact obligated to provide what's being demanded by the regulation or statute, meaning you don't have any wiggle room, right?
I'd have to look more closely at the statute.
I just read it to you.
Then could you repeat it?
Okay.
Those were the days. I really missed them because watching the liberal media back then was a lot of fun. And I know I say I watch CNN so that you don't have to, but there's only so much a man can take of this. A guide to neo-pronouns from A to Z. Neo-pronouns are the new pronouns for the blessed and amazing gender non-binary people, the leaders of the civil rights movement of our
Russia, Mueller investigation, pumping out the pronoun crap. Nobody trusts these people. Nobody have not trusted these people for a long time. And the mere fact that you had Bob Mueller out there who, quite frankly, needed to have everything repeated back to him, yeah, that's pretty daggone, I'll just put it this way here. If you could not tell that CNN was not pushing a load of BS, I really and truly don't know. Really quick, that part about Reagan, I'll be addressing some of that in this video, but I'll be doing a lot more of that on Wednesday on why it is that conservatives still revere Ronald Reagan. But let's start with this right here. First and foremost, everything that's going on today is something that Reagan had reminded us of. Let's go ahead and be honest. These leftists out there, especially the ones in the mainstream media, they are very, very much on the more fascistic side than they are the communistic side, even though, quite frankly, they're all pretty much the same. They're all just different forms of socialism. I'll just throw that out there. Do I need to remind you guys of the Razor Fist or Eric D. July and get them to come out here and explain why it is that at the end of the day it all extends back to Marxism, and quite frankly fascism is not right-wing, it's actually very much left-wing? We'll probably be doing videos on that in the future. I'll be giving you guys my own interpretation with the actual facts and evidence that have been provided to us through all the many, many documents in history, all the books, all that type of stuff there. Now, back on topic. CNN is not exactly a trustworthy brand. They haven't been trustworthy for a while. The minute that Donald Trump got in office, they were running with stories like his tweets, the one where he decided to put his face on Rocky Balboa's body. Stuff like that. Of course, there were all kinds of crazy things that, quite frankly, they ran with. Everything. Covfefe. Come on, I mean, dude. I was like, what the hell is this crap? What the hell is this nonsense? I mean, if you guys recall correctly, when The Sound of Freedom came out, they came out here and said it was a great big giant QAnon piece when the movie had actually been filmed 2 years before QAnon even came to pass. It just so happened to be that it got released in 2023, and of course it would eventually go on to be a success based on the true works of Tim Ballard, the guy who helped spearhead Operation Underground Railroad. Yeah, that guy there, an actual human being that was going out of his way to put an end to human trafficking, especially child trafficking and sex trafficking. But still, though, this company went out of their way to attack people. They went out of their way to call them all a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists, even though they had actually praised Tim Ballard for work in previous years. Fact of the matter is this right here. This network, CNN, has never been trustworthy, and more than likely they never will be trustworthy. But back to Reagan really quick. Ronald Reagan said a lot of things that would end up coming true. Of course, not just fascism and liberalism, or fascism coming under the banner of liberalism. He talked about peace through strength. Well, what have we got right now? You know, the situation in Ukraine could have been completely avoided, seeing how Ukraine was brought up there, because a lot of Americans, especially conservatives, are not okay with this war. The truth be told about this issue is that conservatives got red-pilled during the Iraq War. Let me go ahead and explain this one to you as an Iraq War veteran. And I can already hear some pushback in the comment section, but quite frankly, I mean, at this point in time, I really truly don't care. When we went to Iraq, we were under the impression that we were looking for WMDs, okay? What would end up happening is that we would eventually find Saddam Hussein. We would end up bringing him back stateside or wherever and trying him or whatever the hell it was that we did. I can't remember where it was that we actually got the full execution from. But still at the same time, though, Saddam Hussein was obviously a part of it. The WMD thing is kind of funny because, think about it. WMDs the previous year, right before we went to Iraq, and bear in mind we had just went to Afghanistan, WMDs were originally called NBC weapons, nuclear, biological, and chemical. As a matter of fact, there's an MOS in the military as far as the Marine Corps is concerned, at least that's the branch of service I served in, but of course I want to say the U.S. Army, I want to say the Navy, I want to say every branch in the military has got an NBC MOS, an NBC job, nuclear, biological, and chemical. Well, what the hell was coronavirus? Biological, right? Okay. There's also the sarin gas attack that occurred in the subway tunnel in Tokyo back in 1995. That right there was chemical. Fact of the matter is that even though we did not find no nukes, there were a lot of things, a lot of evidence that pointed us to biological and chemical. Also, to go on top of that, what the hell do you think happened the following couple of years after we had left Iraq in Syria? What the hell do you call that there? All the bombings, all the gassings that... old boy, what's his name? Assad, that guy was actually doing on his people. Fact of the matter is that we were, in fact, looking for some pretty bad crap. It just so happened to be that it wasn't nuclear, and therefore, anytime somebody brings up WMDs or how it was that we did not find WMDs, they oftentimes neglect the fact that biological and chemical can be just as bad, if not worse. Now, this right here is not the only time that CNN trotted somebody out there who just lied all the time. Of course, we all know about Dom Lemon. We know about Chris Cuomo, Meathead. the whole peaceful but fiery protest. It was also that thing where he basically said, he basically hinted at the fact that what gives you the right to question your. I mean, I could go through a lot, and don't worry, I'll be leaving some compilation videos in the description box, but I didn't want this video here to be too long. But the moment that really told me that CNN was dead as far as honesty was concerned was the 2012 presidential debate between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. Yeah, I almost slipped up and said Obama, because I don't even think he was really in charge even when he was president. But but I don't want to get labeled a conspiracy theorist on the platform and get a yellow dollar sign. Okay, YouTube. Okay, but here's the thing, though. There was a moment in the debate when Benghazi was brought up. Now, I want to bring this up very, very, just briefly, momentarily, because obviously when Benghazi happened, the liberal media, the Obama administration, and Hillary Clinton decided to go out of their way and say they had to do with the video. Somebody did a cartoon of Muhammad, that type of thing there, and they ran with the whole thing because the embassy was getting attacked. And they're saying, look, it's over the video, when in reality that was not the case. If you read 13 Hours and you actually look at the situation, it would make a lot of sense to you to think to yourself, okay, it obviously was not the video, but we can see how the video could be used to be the excuse that they went with. Basically, what they decided to do was blame the First Amendment. What really happened was that they've been planning on attacking the embassy for weeks, possibly months, and they went out there and did it. And of course, the video was used as an excuse. But I don't even recall the people who were attacking the embassy even saying that it was really the video. Fact of the matter is this right here. They used that as a way to keep going. Now, I know I've kind of gone a little bit too far off topic here, but the fact of the matter is that during the debate, Candy Crowley interrupted Romney and basically told him that he was lying about the incident. And then Obama came back and said, check the transcript. And there was basically a moment that was used to humiliate Romney. This is back when I voted for him in 2000. This is before we found that Romney was really and truly, we probably should have seen it then, that he was just an extremely awful candidate. He was very, very weak. And of course, also to go on top of this, that he himself was very, very much in the swamp, bought and paid off. But the thing is this right here. He would say what he said. He would comment back. He was cut off guard. He slipped up, this, that, and the other. It was not a very good look. And then Candy Crowley comes out literally like a week or two, walks everything back, and says that she obviously got things wrong. You have an entire audience out there watching this debate, roughly about 25 million people who are watching, so that way they can decide who they want to vote for or not. And you pulled that garbage out there on the debate stage, which, by the way, as a moderator, you should not be doing. I mean, I understand you need to push back from time to time. I get that, but still at the same time, that when moderators aren't doing their job, stuff like that occurs. But it wasn't just that there. It was also moments like this.
He actually got the first question, so I get the last question, last answer on that one.
Actually, in the follow-up, it doesn't quite work like that, but I'm going to give you a chance here. I promise you I'm going to. And the next question is for you. So if you want to, continue on, but I don't want to leave all these guys sitting here.
Candy, I don't have a policy of stopping wind jobs in Iowa, and that they're not phantom jobs. They're real jobs. Okay. I appreciate wind jobs in Iowa and across our country. I appreciate the jobs in coal and oil and gas. I'm going to make sure that taking advantage of our energy resources will bring back manufacturing to America. We're going to get through a very aggressive energy policy, 3.5 million more jobs in this country. It's critical to our future.
Candy, we're going to move you along to taxes.
Being interrupted.
I decided to include the clip where Candy Crowley, of course, is interrupting him while having just a simple exchange. Which, by the way, Obama got more time speaking. There were all kinds of people taking score on that one. Exactly how much time Obama got to speak and how many times that Candy Crowley interrupted. By the way, I'm not a Romney fan. Haven't been one, not since I voted for him in 2012. But even then, he was kind of like our last option to get Obama out. That's the only reason why I'm bringing this up. But this right here brings me to our old pal Mark Dice, who once again was able to make another one of those very, very good compilation videos that he makes that, quite frankly, are always 100% spot on. Still, though, a lot of conservatives saw their kids serve in Iraq. A lot of their kids served in Afghanistan. A lot of working class people. By the way, it wasn't just conservatives. It was moderates, and not only was it moderates, but it was also even classical liberals had kids go overseas. CNN, by the way, at that time ran with that narrative. They actually were very, very pro-war in the very, very early goings of that entire conflict. They were very, very pro everything the Bush administration was doing, and then all of a sudden they decided to change it up when it was politically convenient because we had an election coming up in 2004. Of course, this would be the election of John Kerry and George W. Bush. Now, I have my own thoughts about the Bush administration. What I remember was good and what I remember was bad. And of course, I may even do a what happened in that administration video on one of the various channels that I've created. But the fact of the matter is that most people believe that we fought that war. I mean, contrary to my belief system, they believe that that war was a complete, total waste of time. So anytime this particular government or any type of leader that serves the office of the presidency, anytime they bring up the possibility of war, they're a little bit skittish to go forward with that. They automatically don't trust that. And it's funny to me how it is that liberals are suddenly the pro-war faction. I just think it's kind of funny because they were always known to be anti-war. Let me give you guys one more quick example before I close this video about the mistrust of CNN. It was 2013. And Obama decided to go out and make a speech. And, of course, it was a nightly speech that he decided to make over the situation in Syria. And he basically tried to plead with Congress, which I have no idea why the hell he did that. This is where it goes back to peace through strength, which is something it took me a long time to actually get to. You see, if we had peace through strength, then more than likely the situation in Ukraine would have been completely avoided because, obviously, Putin would have known that there would have been a leader in charge of the United States, the most powerful country in the world, the most powerful military in the world. And, of course, if he had known that someone was actually strong, chances are he probably would not have done what he did. Or he would have at least waited until the sitting president was leaving. Or at least he would have waited until the election in 2024 was over. The thing is this right here, though. The thing about peace through strength is that once you bomb somebody or once you decide to correct someone's behavior after they do something completely and totally stupid, that country tends to get the message. I mean, Obama came out that night, gave a speech, wanted Congress's permission to see if he could level an attack on Syria to put a stop to what was going on, or level Syria enough to create a bit of an even playing field. Republicans in the Senate and Congress said no. Therefore, he didn't go through with it. There were even a lot of Democrats, by the way, who were also saying no. CNN forgot to mention them. They didn't want to bring it up. Fact of the matter is that Reagan would end up being completely prophetic about a lot of stuff. And even though his presidency now, upon a further review, does look a little bit questionable, even with me, a guy who quite frankly revered Ronald Reagan, I got to say that this right here is what the country longs for. They actually long for a leader who actually loves the nation. And they actually yearn for a media that's not exactly, how do I say, on the far left. They yearn for a media that actually tells the truth. They yearn for a media. They yearn for information that, quite frankly, they trust, especially seeing how it is they can't trust Fox News anymore. They yearn for that. However, if you are somebody here on this platform here, this right here is your opportunity to do the right thing. This is your opportunity to get the right information out to people. This is your opportunity to become a trusted source, somebody that somebody could actually go to. This right here is your opportunity. So hopefully if you're another YouTuber out there and you come across this video, hopefully you will take this message right here to heart and you will see that obviously CNN, who quite frankly got absolutely humiliated by just good old-fashioned country people who, by the way, they called deplorables and they called nasty and they called mean, they called nasty, pathetic, Trump supporters, xenophobic, racist, all that crap. Hopefully you guys can see that this right here is what we call the death of a network, that right there being CNN. Guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also share the video. Leave a comment in the comment section. I would love to get you guys' thoughts on this. Please hit the notifications bell so that way you guys are notified when this video comes out. Make sure you guys also hit that notification bell so that way you guys are notified when all of my videos come out. And I shall see you guys later.